I was very superstitious. I had to be the last guy on the ice, the last guy off the ice. When I was in college, I used to wear a Mickey Mouse shirt under my jersey. When I was in college, I used to tape a penny. I had a lucky penny. I used to tape it to my skate when I tied my skates. And when I was in college, and it changed when the Olympic Games, because the gum changed at the time. When in the locker room before a game, I would chew gum, juicy fruit gum. And after I put the piece of gum in my mouth, you could separate the aluminum from the plastic. And if I separated it in one piece, I would fold it up and I would tape it to my skate. If I didn't separate it in one piece, I would take the gum out, throw it on the floor, get another piece of gum, and then do the whole thing again. But in the 80s, in 1980, they changed and it was only a single wrapper, so I couldn't do it with the gum anymore. So I was a little weird when it came to some superstitions.
Hockey players are pretty superstitious, and some more than others. I think everyone has their own little idiosyncrasies and habits, and to some that's superstitious. To others, it's just a way of relaxing and getting into the zone. I don't think that I can recall anything that would be superstitious other than eating the same breakfast, sitting in the same place at a breakfast table, taking the same route to the rink, having the same routine and fixing sticks, getting dressed the same way, using the same hooks and lockers. So if you get my drift, I think everybody is, everyone's a creature of some sort of luck or superstition.
My superstition was whenever I got dressed, I've always put everything on my left leg first, my left sock, my left skate, so I always did everything on the left. My skates went on, I put my left skate on first, always the left, never the right. For some reason, I don't know. That was my biggest superstition.
And you played left wing,
I played left wing, so maybe left wing had a lot to do with it, but I always put everything on the left. That was my biggest superstition. I don't know why or where I got that from.
I can't remember any of them back in the Olympic team. I remember some of my stupid ones in NHL, but I was never a guy that had to go out here in line or stand here, or maybe during the national anthem I just wanted to stand on a certain spot on the ice, but didn't have to. Nothing that was outrageous.
Do you remember any of the other players having weird superstitions?
Not with the Olympic team. No. My NHL, I do. We had a guy that always had a skate between the two starting defensemen for the national anthem when he started. And I remember another player and I, we said we won't let him skate between us. And so we stood next to the bench for the start of the national anthem. And he's waiting to go between the 2D, and the referee's going, let's go, and we wouldn't move so he could skate between us. And he got all wicked out because he couldn't do that. We were just messing with him, but I think it screwed up his game a little bit.
Did you end up winning the game?
Yes.
There you go.
Oh, I had to get my gear on the same way every single time. I taped my stick exactly the same way every single time. If there was a crease in the tape, I took it off. I'd start over. My left skate went on before my right. My left socks went on before my right. I had to have my laces a certain way. Everything had to be in certain orders, and if they weren't, I'd start over.
Yeah, that's always a funny question, because I know when we talk about that, a lot of players will say I don't have any, and I think if you ever would get filmed before a game or during a game, like, you'd notice like all the things you do that are the same. I think for me it was always I always had to go out right after the goalie. I know I had done that since I was in high school hockey. It's like I need to be the second guy on the ice, because typically your starting goalie goes on the ice first, he goes, and then the players go after that. And I think everybody kind of determined an order that maybe where they had to be behind somebody, and it always stayed that way. But I know for me it was like I had to be the first like skater that got on the ice on teams I played on. It was that way with the Olympic team. my locker had to be a certain way. I put my gear on a certain way. There was a certain routine to how my stuff went on, and I'm sure most hockey players have that. But again, as far as those things, I would say I didn't have many, but I do remember those things of having to be the next player on the ice after the starting goalie, and just getting dressed, having my locker set up the same way all the time, and then getting dressed in the same order of equipment.
With the Olympic team, I always had to mess with Robbie McClanahan's equipment. That was a super. I don't know. I probably put my equipment on the same way, left to right. Stepped on the ice with I think my left skate first. Other than that, if I scored a goal, I would continue to use that stick until it was pretty much splintered. So I did not really have a lot of superstitions.